Hi guys, today I've been back in school and it means that I haven't made the video during the break, but I will not beat myself up and I will also not give up on making a video. Today we got a new task which made me very excited to continue this filming journey, this student's diary, so I will keep doing this. And I was thinking, why was it so hard to film this video about the first semester? And I understood that this is actually a huge amount of work, and to tell about every project, about the schedule and all of that. That's why I'm making a series of videos where I'm telling you about each project and each subject we have. Let's go! First, let me put you a little bit higher, guys. Oh, this should be better. So, let's start on Monday, as usually people in Europe do. We starting on Monday, and our schedule says that on Monday we have Design 1 and on Tuesday we have Presentation Techniques. But in practice we had Monday, Tuesday of 1 week Design 1 and Monday, Tuesday of week 2 Presentation Techniques. That's because it's much easier to work a little bit deeper on a project this way, but for the sake of the video, let's do Monday Design 1. So, Design 1. This is the most important, I would say, subject, because if you fail this subject, you do not come to the next semester. That's one thing, and of course it's basically design, so it is very important. But also, Design 1 and Presentation Techniques are kind of connected, because Design 1 is much more about the concept and Presentation Techniques is about graphics, basically. So Design 1 in this particular case will be what are we talking about, and Presentation Techniques will be how do we talk about certain things. And the first task that we got on Presentation Techniques was we got randomly picked a square in the city, and it was not that cold back then, so we needed to go there and observe to get an essence of the square, to find some problems and to kind of search for solutions. So that's what actually happened. We went there, we started sketching, and we started presenting to our professors ideas, problems, our worries, and then the Design 1 part ended and the Presentation Techniques enters. So the first project I will be telling you about is, the name is The Processes, and this will be a huge graphic work where I'm analyzing and suggest solutions for the city square. Whatever effect I will use there. So, first things first. First time I was going to this square, I got a Narutovich square, had no idea who that was, found out later, tragic. Then I started to Google and research the history of the square, even more tragic. And since my deep background in history, of course I was very fascinated by the history, and I will be telling you here about the story as well. And that was another reason why I decided to make separate videos, because the background of the project is so deep that I really don't want to skip it. I don't want to just show you beautiful pictures. I want to show you the essence, the juice of this entire process. So now I will be showing you the graphics that I made, and I was fighting really hard to not put any pictures there because I didn't like it. I wanted to make it all graphic, but professor said that that was important. So I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment. But I would really love to keep it simple and only icons and design. But she was suggesting that, for people who were not seeing this square, it's very important to understand what we even looking at. So okay, I decided I will show it on the map of Warsaw, where there is. I will show a couple of the most important places that are there. So it is this church, it is the dorm, this is the commemoration kind of square of the Narutowicz, and it has a huge tram stop which connects a lot of places in the city. Then, me being me, and I decided to make a fat research on history, and I made the chronological map of the beginning of this area to our days, and this was really fascinating. So I started to search, and we are seeing that the first memories about this place were in the 19th century, where there was a cafeteria kinda that actually gave the name to the entire area. That's cute. Then we are seeing some process, as you may guess, I hope. And I was suggesting that in between of war area, there were really many nice houses that were built and that are very rare. And I found out later why it's rare, because most of the beautiful houses that were built in this time or any other time in Warsaw were destroyed during the war, but this area has the most. So 80% of the Warsaw was totally destroyed, and this area has some old nice houses. Then we are mentioning the inauguration of the Gabriel Narutowicz, who was the first president of Poland and who was killed the next day after the inauguration. That's insane, and that also shows how many turmoils were in Poland and of course in the world in general in this time. But this square was really like soaked in history. And 1923, this square was kind of built. Then we have first tram line. It's important because it's very typical of this square to have many trams. And then the war, and we are seeing that the dorm that we have seen before becomes a building with swastika. Why? Because Nazis made this house a kind of their office, but also there was a prison where they tortured people, and that was really hard to learn about. But the next thing is even more insane, because right on this square we're having the next building, which was a house to this, like a document that was signed that people in Warsaw are deciding to make a Warsaw Uprising. A Warsaw Uprising, I learned during this process, even though I've been living there for a year. I didn't know it that deep, but the Warsaw Uprising is totally like, I have no actually words to describe how inspiring and tragic and huge this event was, because during the times of German occupation, people inside of Warsaw decided to make an uprising, to stand for their own capital. And the problem was that they were occupied by Germans in the city. So it's kind of an uprising from inside, but it's an uprising with no weapon, with no resources. So of course very many people were killed, and they knew that they will be killed. They knew that the chances are tiny, but they still went for it. And that's very touching and kind of insane for me. But another important thing was that it was in 1944, so the war comes to an end, and people are feeling then that Nazis are losing. But another important thing, that losing, let's say, to who, I think it's wrong to say, but people understood that after German Nazis, they were becoming Russian Nazis. So they didn't want to fall for the communist regime either. So that was very, very crucial to keep the capital, to be the owner in their own home. I mean, Poles in general. So that makes it even more tragic, because not only you have to fight right now with the Nazis, you understand that the years that about to come will be about fighting for your capital again from another force. And with all that, we're coming to modern years, and by this graph I wanted to show that it was a lot of reconstruction and rebuilding in the next years. So we are keeping a pin on the history, and now we're coming to nowadays, because it was a very important part of project. It was very, very important to show and analyze what is going on, what kind of offices or boutiques or cafes are there, why are there, all of this is there. So I made some icons for the places that are there. Then we needed to make a map. A map was very important, and mine at the very beginning was very, very unclear, unreadable, so I needed to spend a lot of time on that. And we were coming back with the professor very many times to correct something and to make it better. So it is better now than it was, but I haven't had a feedback yet, so I will have to find out. Then I also at the end of the project, when I was already desperate with the amount of work, I found out that one of my friends who visited me lives in this area, and she told me everything about the group of people who was there, and that was really essential. So we're having this kind of pizza diagram about people who live there. We also have some pictures that I really still didn't want to use, but had to. So I was trying to make it stylistically as okay as possible. And then we of course talked about the problems. Unfortunately, I found a lot of problems with the aesthetics of the square, but let's come to my kind of solution, because I think that will be also kind of touching and important, because with all the history that we're talked about, I decided that this is insanely important piece of history that we have to reserve. And I was looking at the documentary film of one of the professors in the uprising Warsaw Uprising Museum, and the professor told that there is a lot of reconstruction in the area, but there are some bricks in the buildings that still have the holes from the battles during the uprising. And he was like, from one side it's very important that we rebuild the capital, but from another side it's a piece of history that we also have to preserve and keep. And I was like, yes, we have to do that. And I wanted to incorporate some of the left bricks into the modern space that will be both practical, so and like make people appreciate the history and remember it for one more second. And since I mentioned there's very many trams in this area. I also noticed that in a worse weather it's actually nowhere to hide, so I decided that while people will be hiding under some roof, it will be some piece of brain food, let's say, to remember to spend the second commemorating all of the events, because for Warsaw it's a huge scar, and also people are very proud of all of the people who were participating in uprising. Keep an eye on this sketch is very graphic. It has basically nothing to do, I will say, with the final result that might have come if we were trying to do this. It was only to briefly show my idea. So we were not focusing here on making a perfect kind of plan or sketch or model to show. No, it was only a concept sketch that needed to show the idea. So that is the first project. It was also printed out lately and it was hanging on the wall. It was more or less 140 length. I love it. Actually, I really like the colors because I wanted to stay in the style of the brick with the terracotta, and the roof of the church has this metalish green, so I decided I will stay in these colors. It will show very nicely the atmosphere as well, and the vibe of the area, and I think it works well for me. I also, of course, adore the icons. It's very cute, and I just actually enjoyed doing this. And my professor was like, girl, don't do that too much. Now we're focusing on different things. But I was like, the icons, at least something needs to be beautiful. And he was like, girl, you're focusing too much on aesthetics. And I'm like, that's the whole point of being in art academy. Anywho, thank you very much for watching. This was a very first huge project for all of us. We were terrified, and I think I did a good job. I'm satisfied with myself. I got a 4+ for this. I will ask tomorrow what else could have done a little bit better, but you know, for me, I'm very glad I participated in this activity. Highly recommend.